welcome to the 2014 REIS BTRDA Rally Championship. It's round 3. We're in Somerset, a long way from the Malcolm Wilson of round 2. But I tell you what, the action is set to be just as good, if not even better. Steve Perez back in his VK Focus. And I tell you what, there are a whole load of other people right here in the thick of it as well. Dave Weston Jr. coming all the way down from Scotland in his Subaru. And of course, the usual contenders out to do battle in this exciting championship. Stay with us at Special Stage. We'll bring you all the action. Round 3 of the championship is our furthest journey south. And unusually for a gravel championship, the day's opening 2 stages are on tarmac. 2 runs up the famous Porlock Toll Road before heading out to the forests for the rest of the day's stages. Unfortunately for number 1 on the road, David Bogie and Kevin Ray, it will be a very short event. They retire on the very first stage of the rally when the ignition coil failed on the Focus World Rally car. A big blow for their championship and a long drive home. So that means that the early leaders over the 2 runs of Porlock would be round 2 winners Paul Bird and Alan Davies. A good early lead of 9 seconds. BTRDA regulars Steve Perez and Paul Spooner had seen the rivalry at the top of the championship and decided to bring out the Focus World Rally car for a serious attack on the title. And it was going well at this stage with 2nd place. The long trip down from Scotland was going a lot better for Dave Weston and Kirsty Riddick than for fellow Scott Bogie. The pair were just 6 seconds back from Perez in 3rd place. Meanwhile, Stephen Petch and Ian Windrus were hoping for a trouble-free run this weekend after a mixed start to the season. And it was going as good as could be expected in 4th place at this stage. Rounding out the top 5 at this stage of the rally were Martin and Dawn England, a pair leading the way in the non-WRC cars after 2 great runs up the toll road. In the Silver Star, it would be an early lead for John Ballinger and Mike Wilding, the pair enjoying the tarmac stages in the Manta to take a very small 1-second lead. Second in Silver Star were James Ford and Michael Gilby. An ideal start for the DS3 pair, but the first 2 stages are so different to the rest of this rally. So could the results be relied on at this stage? New to the championship for this season would be Andy Burnell and Scott Cleverden in the Skoda Felicia kit car. 3rd overall was a good place in itself, but the pair were also over 30 seconds ahead of their closest class rivals after just 2 stages. And it's not something we say very often, but in 4th place we see Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis in the Escort. Having had an almost faultless season so far, 4th place seemed a little out of character, but there were only 5 seconds separating the top 5 crews. And rounding out those top 5 were Callum Black and Paul Wakely, the 2nd DS3 pair in the top of our Silver Star results. So at the end of 2 short opening stages, here's a reminder of the results. With the tarmac stages finished, it was back to the familiar gravel and no change in the lead for Paul Bird and Alan Davies. A lead of 8 seconds now as well, not helped though with a small mistake in stage 5. Paul, brimming with confidence after the Malcolm Wilson, I'm sure.
Yeah, I made an error in there. Dove came up to chicane a bit too quick, so I was pumping on the pedal a bit. But I probably dropped maybe 8 seconds, but the rest of the stage I drove pretty well, so I don't think we'll have dropped any time there.
You Looking at the lines you were taking, you were clearly enjoying Porlock.
Yeah, it's a great little rally. I've only done it once before, but I can remember last time really enjoyed it. So, and it's running like clockwork as well, so credit to the organisers.
For Kick Energy pair Steve Perez and Paul Spooner, it would still be second. They extend their lead in that place by a further 2 seconds though at the end of stage 5.
It's great to be back in the focus. It's actually so easy to drive a car like this compared to the Stratas. I can't tell you. It's going really fast, but it's just easy. You know, you're sort of going along some of the straights, and the car just bouncing around. It's just beautiful.
Enjoy the first 2?
Yeah, great. Just trying to get into it. I was on the wrong tyres on the first 2 stages. We were on hard tyres. Bernie was on soft tyres, so.
And Stephen Petch with Ian Windruss alongside was clearly on a mission this weekend. But they were going to have to tidy things up if they wanted a result. The driving, at times, a little over the limit. And a stall in stage 3 wasn't helping their fight for the lead either. Stephen, another man with a good result on your home event last time out. How's the Somerset going?
Indifferent at the minute, to be fair. Tarmac the first 2, I haven't done tarmac for probably 3 years now, so that was an eye-opener this morning. Then I stalled on that next stage after that. Thought I was comfortable on gravel again, obviously I wasn't quite, so lost probably 10 seconds on that one with the stall. That last stage was good. I ended up on 2 different banks though, so I think I was maybe a little bit wayward than I should be, but I enjoyed it, it was good fun.
Considering the lack of time in the car, Dave Weston and Kirsty Riddick were going well. Unfamiliar car, unfamiliar stages, and indeed an unfamiliar crew. But that wasn't stopping them sticking with the BTRDA regulars, just 7 seconds behind Petch in 4th. Dave, how's the Somerset treating you?
Yeah, it's going okay, I think. Try to get used to the car as well. Never really driven it apart from the test on Thursday, but so far so good. I think it was a bit slippy on that last stage.
Yeah.
A few.
Pace looks good considering you are straight into this and thrown in at the deep end.
Well, here's hoping we get on alright today.
After a mixed start to the season, it will be a step in the right direction at round 3 for Luke Francis and John Roberts. Keeping up with the times of the World Rally cars, even if they were only here with the B13 points in mind. 5th place for now. Luke, you're keeping some good company out there today.
Yeah, we're up at the top. Just wondering where the times are now. We put a few good times in this morning. I think we equalled Dave on the 3rd stage, so hopefully the rest of the stages have been good to us.
It's a good place to be in, but you're really going to have to push to stay there, aren't you, with these World Rally cars?
Yeah, well, I'm only coming here for some points today. We've not had the best of starts this season, so as long as we're leading our class, I'm happy where we finish, to be honest.
The Group N battle would be as close as always, with Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence leading the way at this stage, and still managing to stay within sight of last season's rivalry with Luke Francis as well, now in the B13 class, of course. Patrick, how's Somerset treating you?
Well, Paul, so far, very well, I think. The first few stages we were going really well. This one, the longest one we've done so far, a bit scrappy, but I think we were going well enough, and got to see the times yet, but hopefully we're mixing it with Thomas and Russ.
Naylor's closest rival in the N4 class would be Tom Norton and Andy Mort. The pair out on a slightly softer tyre than they needed, but it was still going okay, just 10 seconds off the class lead in 7th place. Tom, how's it going?
Don't really know where we're up to at the minute, to tell you the truth. We've had 1 or 2 small issues there, just with the tyres are a bit soft, to tell you the truth, and we car bogged down in Shargot stage there, so I've got no idea where we are at the minute, but we just try to battle on, and we just had a little bit of an overshoot on that last stage there, so it's a long way to go.
And after a great start on the Porlock stage, it will be a few places lost now for Martin and Dawn England as they drop down into 8th. However, given the crew prefer the tarmac, it was something to be expected. Battle of the Evos, how's it looking in the 10?
Very good, actually. We've made an excellent start on Porlock, 5th after the first 2 stages, 1st in B13. So, yeah, very pleased with that. I'd be disappointed if we weren't soon to do more tarmac than a lot of these guys. So, yeah, very pleased with the start. I don't know how it's looking in the gravel stages yet. haven't had a chance to talk to anybody. But
it's one of those things with Portlock, isn't it? Some people just try and get through it, other people try and get an advantage.
for us, it was to make a big advantage. We got the position we hoped for, and hopefully.
Long way to go to hold it. Cheers.
Yeah, very long way.
Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy were continuing the season of learning in the Evo. Third of the Group N cars and inside the top 10 at this point in the event was good going. Russ, battle of the Group N, how's it looking from where you are?
We're not just sure, but looks a lot better, I think, for us this time rather than last time.
Did you enjoy the mix of tarmac this morning?
Yeah, I would have done if I'd have done a bit more on it, yeah. I think we lost a bit to them on to Pat and Tom on that one, but yeah.
Well, now you're in the groove, plenty more to go and get some points of this one.
Definitely, yeah. Cheers.
And there would be just another 3 seconds back to 10th place. And our fourth Group N crew of Roland Llewellyn and Jamie Edwards. Going well with no problems to report at this stage. Looking nice and tidy out there where we've seen you. How's it going?
Yeah, really good. There's a bit more grip this event to the previous two, so really getting to grips with it now and pushing on a bit. So enjoying it, it's good.
Nice weather as well. It hasn't been nice quite recently here, as we know, but here it's been good today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit dusty here, but there's no hanging dust, so that's good. So yeah.
Enjoyed the tarmac?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah,
so,
interesting. That seems to be the consensus. Interesting. Cheers. And with Luke Francis and Martin England heading up the B13 class, it would be up to Simon Rogers and Andrew Sankey to round out the podium places in that class at this stage in the rally. On to the Silver Star now, and it will be back to familiar ways as we see Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis climb back up the results and into the lead of the category. As ever, Matthew, you looked really on it earlier, particularly on the tarmac stages.
I felt like we should bring a planer and plane it up, maybe for 2015. I don't like the tarmac, Paul. Tarmac's for driving on in the morning. You know, to get to work and
for business too.
Yeah, business as well. But yeah, no, I won't be entering any tarmac championships in the near future. That is for sure.
Robinson's lead though wouldn't be a big one. Callum Black and Paul Wakely comfortably keeping them within their sights, and just 3 seconds further back in second place. Not bad for their first event in many months. Callum, you're used to tarmac and gravel. Which one have you preferred today?
To be fair, I probably prefer gravel, although I'm supposed to be faster on tarmac, but I don't think that was the case this morning.
Yeah. How has it gone other than that?
Yeah, it's been alright. I haven't been in the car I've done a rally for 5-6 months, so it's just good to be back in it, and I'm really enjoying the stages actually.
And it would be battle of the DS3s, with James Ford and Michael Gilby in third. It was a step back from the second place they held on the Portlock stages, but they were still well within sight of the lead. It's battle of the DS3s out there today, isn't it?
Yeah, me versus Callum, old BRC rivalry. So, well, it's us versus Robinson really for points for Silver Star. So,
and how's that battle going?
We took 5 out of him on Portlock on the first 2, but I don't know, if he beats us in there then I'll go shake his hand, because I think we nearly went off about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, you did look like you were on it in Portlock. There's 2 ways to do Portlock. Some people just want to get through it and get to the gravel, and some people want to make an advantage in there. Looks like you tried the second one.
Well, we tried because Robinson's in historic, so he had to run a historic tarmac tyre, so he has a disadvantage on that, so we thought we'd try and get a bit of time.
And doesn't he know it? Yeah. He's got his rally driver excuses out for that one.
Yeah,
cheers, guys. John Ballinger and Mike Wilding's early lead of the event had come to an end now. They remain well placed, but now in 4th. A little hold up in stage 3 might not have cost them much time, but it wasn't helping. John, another man whose experience was really showing around Portlock. Enjoyed it so far?
Brilliant. Portlock was really good, nice and dry, and we were a bit sluggish on the first run, but the second run was a cracking run.
You allow the first one's a sighting run.
Well, it is, but you know, one-day events, you really ought to be a bit more on the button than I was on the first run. But no, the second run was spot on.
How about the rest of it? All going well?
Yeah, not too bad. We were a little bit slow on the first forest stage because we got held up in a bit of traffic and we didn't get the tyres pressured before we started. And it was like driving on ice, it was. Right.
Andy Burnell and Scott Cleverden also drop a few places. They end this stage in 5th. Still, a fantastic run for a car, mixing it with much more powerful and modern machinery. A fantastic to see a proper Skoda kit car out here.
Yeah, it's amazing really. I've had the car for a little while now. We've done some improvements for this year because we've been suffering with drive shafts and gearbox, just a bit tired. You know, it's a nearly 18-year-old car now when you think about it.
Still looks good. How's it going out on the stages?
Really, really good. Yeah, I've got sequential now, so I'm having to learn that. It was a bit of a test in the tow rod, obviously. Yeah. Missed the handbrake because that's now in a different position, which isn't a good move. Yeah. But no, really chuffed a bit. It's a car. It's a transformer car. We're really setting some times at the moment. I jokingly said to Scott, "Do you think we should try and push a bit harder?" And he said, "Oh, I think we're going fast enough at the moment." But, you know,
you should push a bit harder too. It's always good for the cameras.
I haven't rallied for 4 years, so to come out, you know, don't want to storm out the box. We'll see. But yeah, I say Skoda kit car. It's nice to see, isn't it?
Having seen Matt Edwards and Will Rogers in the 1400s and more recently in the Gold Star, it would be a Silver Star debut now for the pair. However, it wasn't going great, having suffered with a major clutch problem right from the first stages of the rally.
It's good to be back in the BTRDA and again back in Somerset. Enjoy the stages down here, but we're having a bit of a nightmare, unfortunately. So
what's gone wrong?
Well, we had about 50-mile test end of last week. Re-prep, nothing wrong with the car at all. And about 2 mile into Porlock, the clutch went completely. So we basically changed this. There was a leaky cylinder, which we changed in service, but now that cylinder's too short, so I'm not getting any clutch pressure. So that's why we're struggling. It's dragging now, as you can probably hear, but we're
always
just dragging.
Nice to have a bodge repair to get around the rest of the half of the rally.
Yeah, well, we've had the clutch out again after the Knoll, so we've just got it. We're doing the stages without the clutch to stop it, cylinder popping out. So it's all a bit touch and go, but
good to have you back anyway.
I know, yeah, good to be back.
Meanwhile, electrical problems will be the order of the day for Nick Dobson and Steve Pugh, but they fight through the problem to end stage 5 in 7th place. Oh, what's the problem today?
Electrical again. Right. So unfortunately in between Portlocks this time. So
you are still here.
Still here, yeah. Mapping. That was a great stage, mapping stage. That. Yeah. And these tyres are working brilliant. So.
Nice short one. Then you can get back to surface and fix your electrical problem.
Yeah, smashing. Thank you.
Jake Scannell and Adrian Stevens add a little more variety to the category with the Mazda RX-7, and it was going well with just 20 seconds separating them from Dobson ahead, 3rd in their class.
It's going very well actually. We had a bit of a fuel problem at the start of this stage. It was uphill and it got a bit hot, and when we went off a line it died. So it's just the pumps aren't powerful enough, and we just had to sit there and fire it up. So, but once we got going, it's alright. A few minor hiccups.
Yeah. You've got half the rally to go, so plenty of time to find a few more to iron out.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's good out there at the moment, but it's a bit slippery. I'm still finding it slippery, whether it's the tyre choice, but I'll blame the tyres because it's easy.
For Rex Ireland and Adrian Scadding, it would be an identical time to Scannell ahead. They also lead the way in the H2 class. 5 stages down, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good really. Porlock went quite well. Don't do any tarmac, that's the tarmac for the year done. So we got up there twice, that was good. First 2 stages we stalled on a hairpin in both of them, so it's a bit rusty, but other than that, pretty good, so quite happy.
And rounding out our top 10 at this stage were Jody Bocart and David Millard. The Escort pair a good 40 seconds down in that place, but there was still only 2 minutes separating the top 10 at this stage.
Today, yeah, it's much better now around the gravel. I'm not keen on the tarmac, even though I do a bit of racing. But
was it a case of just get through the tarmac?
Yeah, it was. We had a bit of a donut on one of the hairpins. I'd like to say it was on purpose for the speckies, but it was
I think we got it on camera as well.
Yeah. Make sure you show this.
Cheers.
All right, thanks.
Elsewhere in the classes then, it would be the lead in the N3 class for Sasha Kakad and Andrew Price. Everything was going to plan and they hold a 22-second lead in that class. A lead, in fact, over this man, David Poyser, with John Orme alongside in the Civic. Themselves having a bit of a problem with second gear, which wasn't ideal on the tighter sections of these Somerset stages. And rounding out the N3 class were Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan. The 2014 debut was steady, needing to settle back into the car before any real push could be made. Second in B10 at the end of stage 5 were Brad Axon and Jonathan Shearing. But unfortunately, the end of stage 5 is as far as they would get. The engine on the Corolla deciding it couldn't hold on to its oil any longer. Rounding out the podium places in that B10 class then are Mark Green and Ryan Dooley. But of course, the loss of Axon means that would all be changed in the next loop. 5 stages down then, and a recap of the overall results here in Somerset. Seven more stages face the crews in the afternoon, and once again there will be no change at the top, with Paul Bird and Alan Davies doubling their lead to 16 seconds now. They certainly weren't getting away easily though. The times were still close, and old rivals Steve Perez and Paul Spooner were keeping Bird on his toes, and they remain in second place. The gaps between the top few cars were now growing, but not by much. Stephen Petch and Ian Windress remain in third. Their deficit to second place Perez had grown by another 2 seconds though, now to 14 seconds overall. No change for Dave Weston and Kirsty Riddick in fourth. However, they break the trend and actually close the gap ahead to lie just 7 seconds behind Petch now. Luke Francis and John Roberts remain fifth, but only just. They were lucky to get away with this moment close to the start of the Knowles stage, losing only a couple of seconds. The lead of the Group N battle would still be very much in the hands of Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence. Things still as we left them at the end of stage 5, 10 seconds of a lead in that class still. A 10-second lead over Tom Norton and Andy Mort. They're still holding on to Naylor and not letting him get away. Just 3 more stages left to make a difference though. Martin and Dawn England hadn't managed to make any more time back, but that said, they weren't losing any either. They remain in 8th place and second of the B13 runners. Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy keep hold of their 9th place too, and indeed their 3rd place in the Group N battle. They were dropping a few seconds back from the class rivals, but nothing serious at this stage of the rally. And just 6 seconds further back in 10th place are Roland Llewellyn and Jamie Edwards. They continue to round out the top 10 after a steady run over these stages. No change at the top of the Silver Star category as we still see Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis leading the way. But the advantage was only 5 seconds, still so close at the top of this exciting category. It seems there was no way Callum Black and Paul Wakely were going to let Robinson take another win so easily, keeping them within sight all the way. 5 seconds was nothing, so the pressure was on right to the finish. Meanwhile, the gap to third was growing a little, but not by much still, as we still have James Ford and Michael Gilby rounding out the podium places 18 seconds now the difference, but with 3 stages remaining, there was still a chance these things could change. There would be some change in 4th now, as we see Andy Burnell and Scott Cleverden move up into that place on these stages. The new sequential gearbox in the car was clearly doing its job, and allowing them to push for some good times over these stages.
Down mid. 4 left opens long, 130 down. Caution hairpin right. And 4 left long, bails inside. 60, 5 right. 60, 5 left plus. 60 down, caution, 3 right, logs outside, into turn 6 left, 60, caution, 4 right camber, into 4 left don't cut, crest, 3 right, 60, turn tyre hairpin left over bump, don't cut.
A move up the results too for Matt Edwards and Will Rogers. Despite the clutch problems, they were still managing to get through the stages with minimal issues and set some good times. But their move up the results wasn't all down to stage times. Unfortunately, John Ballinger and Mike Wilding would drop a few places in the stage and go into service in 6th position. Disappointing that they were moving down the order after a promising early lead of the category. No change in 7th though, as we still see Nick Dobson and Steve Pugh occupying that position on the leaderboard. The electrical problems certainly hadn't gone, but at least they were still going. With a few seconds gained, it was still 8th for Jake Scannell and Adrian Stevens in the Mazda. They were just 14 seconds behind Dobson now, and with the electrical problems for the Escort ahead, they will be sat waiting for any places to be gained. Rex Ireland and Adrian Scadding had been equal on times with Scannell, but they head into service just 3 seconds behind. They remain in 9th, but they were going to have to find those extra few seconds on the final stages if they wanted to gain a place. And for Jody Bocott and David Millard, the gap was increased slightly to 49 seconds as they remain in 10th position in the category. So with just 3 stages remaining here at the Somerset stages, here's how the results are shaping up. On to the finish of this rally then, and in 14th place were Peter Adams and Tim Chapman. The pair were picking up the pace in the afternoon, but unfortunately that came with some missed braking points. Losing a few seconds in an overshoot, they finished 3rd in the B10 class. It was though a good return for Peter, who's been away from the sport for a lot of years now. 2nd in that class and 13th overall would be Mark Green and Ryan Dooley, the pair in a similar car holding out to take 2nd in the class just outside our top 10. And another return for the driver's seat, this time for Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan alongside. It was a steady one as well. They finished in 12th overall and 2nd in the N3 class battle. A battle, in fact, they'd had all day, with this man Sasha Kakad with Andrew Price alongside. Just over a minute separated the Fiesta crews at the end of the event after a close and dramatic battle all day. On to the top 10 then, and it will be Sean Edwards and Gavin Haycock that round out the top of the results, with 3rd in the historics as another bonus for the pair. A small bit of luck now for Jody Bocott and David Millard in these final stages as they move up to 9th place in the Escort due to the loss of Jake Scannell in the Mazda. 3rd in the B11 class was theirs today. Rex Ireland and Adrian Scadding were another to take advantage of the loss of the Mazda. They step up into 8th place vacated by that crew ahead and also get themselves 2nd in the H2 class in the process. Nick Dobson and Steve Puce survived the day's issues to end the event where they'd been for most of the day. 7th overall and 2nd in the B11 class. And after an early lead, it would be a slightly disappointing end for John Ballinger and Mike Wilding, who finished in 6th, but with the B11 class win in the bag, it would be a small consolation at least. A slight change in the final stages for Andy Burnell and Scott Cleverden as they slip down a place to lie in 5th. It was a great result though in that car, and they take a very comfortable win in B10 class. So that means despite the problems, it's a move up to 4th for Matt Edwards and Will Rogers, and they were not a million miles off the overall times either. 15 seconds off the podium in fact, and only 42 seconds off the lead. But the bottom step of that podium would go to James Ford and Michael Gilby. The battle of the DS3s went down to the final stages of the rally, but unfortunately it didn't end in their favour. 3rd was a fantastic result though, and some great championship points on the leaderboard. And there will be change at the top of the results even at this stage of the rally, as we see long-time rally leaders Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis slip down the results and end the day in 2nd place. The reason? A spin in the final miles of the event, costing them just enough time to lose the lead of the event, but luckily that's all it cost them. The dominance in the category this season had been broken, but it wasn't stopping their command on the overall points after this round.
Right, turn square left, just turn square left. Right, don't try and make it back, calm down. Tightens to 8 and 2 left. 200 up the middle. 8 left loose at the end. 8 left loose here, then 60. 5 left.
So that means, you've probably guessed it, after a close battle all day, Callum Black and Paul Wakely come out 6 seconds on the right side of victory. The result was actually a repeat of the victory on the event last year. And he's the only person to win a Silver Star in a front-wheel drive car since. Callum, Paul, great result. You've come here and you've won the Silver Star at the Somerset stages. Can't say fairer than that.
Oh no, it's been a fantastic day, really good stages. Enjoyed Porlock. It was a bit of sleep, and it's nice to get on the gravel and then get the time back. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Paul, great to have 2 DS3s out here as well, so you can really compare them and fight back to back.
It's been a good battle all day, to be fair. Nip and tuck all day. We've tried hard all day. The boys have made some massive improvements to the car, in fairness to them, and the car's been really good. Been ran faultlessly all day, and no, it's been a thoroughly good event. Good stages, good condition, yeah, well organised. Spot on.
Good to hear. And Callum, I hear you've also been helping the other DS3 team with settings on their car as well.
Yeah, I was regretting that halfway through, to be fair. But yeah, no, just a little bit of knowledge that we can pass on. You know, James is fairly new with the car, so it's good to pass on a little bit of knowledge on.
Yeah, absolutely. So can we expect to see you out at future rounds?
Yeah, it'd be nice to get out, do some more. I've just got to try arm wrestle Dad to give me some more money.
Sounds good, Dad, if you're watching, and you should be. Well done, guys. Fantastic result.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Matthew, Sam, 2nd place here at Somerset. You've got some competition here.
Yeah, but last year, we're not too bothered, I don't think, because last year it went awfully wrong. So, you know, if you look at it that way. Callum was going at some pace as well today. We were sandwiched between the DS3 boys, so, yeah, no, we're quite happy. We'll take 28 points anyway.
Sam, are you happy with the DS3 sandwich?
Well, I don't know about happy, Paul. Stuck between the 2 French shopping cars, but no, you can't complain. It's been a long day, a trying day, but we've got to the end and not a scratch on the car again. So hopefully we'll take that to Amstelveen now and move forward.
James, Michael, fantastic result at the end of a pretty tough day for you.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough day, but apart from that, it's been all right. Good day with the car and no problems, and everything worked all right. It's just Robinson obviously had the edge on us until he spun in the last one. Callum took it, but no, it's been good.
The 2 DS3s, it's good to see the cars back to back and have a true competition between them.
Absolutely, yeah. It was interesting to compare our times with Callum. He's had us by just a few seconds every stage, pretty much, but we're still learning a lot about the car, tyres, everything. So no, we've enjoyed it.
And at this stage, it's all about the championship, and that's some good championship points, even if Matthew was still there in the fight.
Yeah, definitely. We actually learned a bit off Callum today. He told us to run a different engine setting, and it made a big difference, actually. So that was something else we learned. So it's just time in the car, I think, with these Citroens, and you've got to just keep going with it.
Well, we're enjoying watching your time in the car. I'm sure you're enjoying having it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
So for the first time in 2014, Matthew Robinson and Sam Collis don't have it all their own way. Callum Black and Paul Wakely coming out on top here at the Somerset stages, with James Ford and Michael Gilby not far behind them in the second DS3 either. Next up on special stage, let's find out what happened in the Gold Star. Gold Star now, and it will be Simon Rogers and Andrew Sankey who round out our top 10. A result which sees them take third in the B13 class as well. There will be a place gain for Roland Llewellyn and Jamie Edwards in these final stages as they move up into 9th, and with it take 4th in the Group N battle. Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy would take the final podium place in that Group N battle as they finish the day in 8th position with 3rd in the class. Martin and Dawn England meanwhile have a good run in the newer Evo to end the event in 7th. Never far off the times at the top and the best result of the season so far. Unfortunately for Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence, the Group N battle takes a turn in the wrong direction and they end the event 2nd in the class, missing out on victory by just 1 second, but it wasn't through lack of trying. That means it's Tom Norton and Andy Mort who sneak in at the last minute and take that Group N victory. The narrowest of margins, but it doesn't matter if it's a minute or a second. Maximum class points here at round 3. After their earlier scare, Luke Francis and John Roberts probably felt they calmed things down a little, and they settle in their position to end the day 4th. It was still enough though for a class win and maximum B13 class points. Dave Weston and Kirsty Riddick make a great BTRDA debut together with a result of 3rd place. The final step on the podium was a great prize and a good, well-deserved reward for the long journey they'd made to be here at round 3. There was, as usual, no backing off for Stephen Petch and Ian Windress, sometimes a little over the limit, as our camera found out in this stage, but despite this they end the day in 2nd place, but it certainly wasn't as straight cut as that. In case you're wondering how we fit 2 crews into the final position, well, we don't. These final stages see us lose Paul Bird and Aled Davies. Off the road and mechanical failure putting an end to the fantastic dominance of round 3. That means, of course, that it's a win on his return to the wheel of the Focus WRC for Steve Perez with Paul Spooner alongside. And remember, we said it wasn't straight cut. Well, the times at the end of the day would have Perez and Petch finish dead level, and the win would go down to Perez on his stage 1 time. We always say how close it is in the BTRDA, and this, if it was needed, is proof. So before we speak to our winners here at the Somerset stages, here's a reminder of the final results. Steve, Paul, back in the BTRDA in this Focus, and you win the rally on an identical time to Stephen Petch. What a story for the end of this rally.
I know, it's unbelievable. We both overshot the same corner, and I imagine he did the same and reversed as well. And I just can't believe that we've actually won, because we finished the last stage. We thought we were 2nd down, so we were 2nd. But equal times, fastest on the 1st stage, so we win. I feel so sorry for Steve Petch because he drove a blinder of a rally towards the end of it. The last 3 stages, he absolutely flew. Yeah, and I saw Birdie off, and I kind of thought, is he all right? So I probably lost a couple of seconds then, and I thought, oh, actually, we could have a chance of a win. So I lost a lot of time, and then overshoot, and then he was quicker than us on the last stage.
Paul, you guys are no strangers to these good results, but it must feel great to be back at the top of the BTRDA, the UK's top gravel rally championship. Here you are in first place.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, really. This is the only BTRDA round I've never won, so I can tick that box now, having finished second 3 times. It's fantastic, but what an incredible battle, really. And we've suffered all afternoon from intercom problems as well. And it's been credit to Steve that he's kept it in when I'm not quite sure what that was, and so it's been fantastic. And what a battle with Steve Petch, unbelievable.
Well, it's fair to say driving a Focus World Rally car is just like riding a bike for Steve Perez. Well done, guys.
And I've also just got to say, Birdie, watch out. I'm coming.
We like that. Statements of intent here in the BTRDA. Well done, guys.
Thanks ever so much.
All right, cheers.
Stephen, Ian, we've had some close battles in this championship of late, but it doesn't come much closer than identical times at the end of the day, does it?
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that, to be honest. After the last loop, before the last loop, obviously I thought it was pretty much third was going to be the best we could have got today, to be fair. Then seen Birdie off, put a little bit more venom in there, thinking that you could maybe do it. And obviously we had a bit of a push there on them last couple, and yeah, couldn't get much any closer, could you?
Ian, obviously you have lost out on that tie break, but it's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been nice though. It would have been very good for our championship with Paul having problems today and David as well. But second's good points in the bag. It's just didn't push him that little bit harder on the last stage. It just reined him in a bit too much.
Having seen you halfway through the day, then, I know you weren't as pleased with how it was going compared to last time out at your home event, but you've beaten that result.
Yeah, no, I couldn't ask for any more. Second would have took it at the start, as I've said before. It is a good result. It dampens it a bit when you know it's so close. It's 1 second, isn't it? Would have made the difference. But
well, there's two ways of looking at it. I'm sure when you're celebrating later, you'll look at it the better way. Well done, guys. Fantastic result.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers, Paul.
Dave, Kirsty, fantastic results today. You've come down here to the BTRDA, to the Somerset stages, and you've dropped yourselves onto the podium. What a great result, and good competition to do it with.
Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a bit of a learning curve. First time out in the car, first time out since August last year. First time with Kirsty in the car, but no, it's been a good day. I've really enjoyed it.
First time in the car together then, Kirsty. How's it gone? It must have been a great fun out there on the stages.
Yeah, but David and I have been friends for a very long time, so it wasn't hard to trust him and to adapt to each other. So no, it's been really good.
But the company that you're keeping here, top BTRDA regulars, you come down here and you drop yourselves onto the podium. Can't say fairer than that. Will we see you in the BTRDA again to get some more points on that board?
Hopefully, yeah. Just have to see him busy with work a lot, so we have to. I'd like to come back and do more, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we'd like to see you back. Well done, guys. Fantastic result.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, it doesn't come much closer than that, but we're used to results like this in the BTRDA because it's the top UK Gravel Rally Championship, and I can promise you one thing. Next time out on the Plains Rally, the action will be just as fierce, and who knows, it could be any one of these three drivers on top. Identical stage times. I'm saying it again because what a fantastic finish here on the Somerset stages. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have. Thank you for watching Special Stage.